Hello, hello, and welcome to my cottage on Oak. Today we are starting out strong with some laundry. In my area, we recently had our Raylana sale, so I went, of course, and bought some clothes for my kids and myself, as well as some toys for Christmas. And with Raylana comes lots of hangers and bobby pins. I love folding my clothes on the kitchen table. I feel like I have ample amount of space to make all the necessary piles I need for folding. I have been babysitting some kids, and so we are tired, but it has been so much fun, and the kids have been having a blast playing every day. This video is actually over the course of 3 or 4 days because it was so hard to film in just one day. That is so hard for me to do. I have yet to figure it out. But one laundry hack that I've started doing is I have not been folding my son's t-shirts anymore. I simply hang them up. So I have been throwing my younger kids' clothes just into their own pile. Then I take them to their closet, and that is where I organize them, and it just makes it go by so much quicker for me. I also do that with my laundry and my husband's if I am just crazy busy. But this day I was able to fold our clothes. So a new healthy snack that I have already made twice on Pinterest, it's called date Snickers. So I am throwing some pitted bejewel or dejewel something dates onto a cookie sheet with some parchment paper. I cut those in half and lay them flat down onto the parchment paper. And even the kids I had babysat loved this snack, so that was great. But after you cut them all in half, you lay another parchment paper on top of them, and you can take a glass cup like I am here and kind of roll it on top to help squish them down. But for me, that wasn't working too great, so then I started smushing the dates down with my knuckles, my thumb, my palm, whatever. And you want them nice and flat, so that way when you're eating them, you're not just getting a huge chunk of date. You want them nice and squishy already. Next, I'm spreading some no sugar peanut butter. I'm using Skippy because that's what my husband has recently been buying for himself for his protein shakes in the morning. So you spread a nice layer of that on top of the dates. And then I got out my Celtic sea salt. You can buy this on Amazon or Azure Standard if you shop from there. I think also TikTok. But anyways, as you can see, I did a lot of salt, and it was almost not enough. But I sprinkled that all over all of it. And then I took some cashews and I chopped them up with a knife. And then I took my hand and kind of squeezed the big pieces into smaller pieces. And I just sprinkled those on top. You don't have to add the cashews. I just like a chunky peanut butter, and cashews is what I had on hand. So I sprinkled those on top, and then I don't have a microwave, so I put my chocolate chips into a bowl and stuck them in the oven while a cake was baking so they would melt. And once they were melted, I took them out of the oven, and you can just take your butter knife, scoop some scoop some chocolate out of the bowl and just rub it on top. Super, super easy. No microwave involved. And then I took the remaining and just kind of poured it out of the bowl onto the top of chocolate and smoothed it out from there. I am using the Ghirardelli milk chocolate chips for this recipe, but you can use whatever you want. Some pure Lindt chocolate would probably be even healthier than the Ghirardelli. But I just spread all of that out over the top, and then I place it in the freezer for about an hour, I believe, and then it's ready to snack on after that hour. But while that's freezing, I have some dishes to wash, and the house needs to be picked up. And here's a little sneak peek of some of my yard sale finds. So here's what it looks like after it's frozen. I flipped it over and just peeled the parchment paper off of the back. And to hold the pieces, you can either use Tupperware. I didn't have any on hand, so I just took a ball jar. I needed 2 of them. And I cut the pieces up using some heavy-duty scissors that I bought from Lowe's last year. So I'm cutting them up using those and just sticking the chunks into the ball jar, and they store so nicely in the freezer. It's great. Like I said, the kids love it. I love it. My sister loved it. My brother-in-law loved it. It was a hit all around. The only sad thing is that it was not keto for my husband. So if you're keto, I don't think you can eat that. I have been making more wreaths. My dried flower stash has gotten a little high, and so this one particular has already been claimed. It's full of yellow roses, some blue hydrangeas from my grandmother's garden that I clipped and dried. And it's just the most darling little wreath. I love it so much. So if you recall, I said I did not like these red lampshades. And so I had my husband buy me some plain white ones from Walmart. They were a little pricey, I think like 15 bucks each, which is a lot, but they are new. But I love the plain white lampshade way more than the red one. Let me know down below which one you prefer. Okay, here I am. I set up a little vignette to make a still life. I've already kind of messed it up a little. I've already taken the pictures, but I put the corn back in the pot. But I just sprinkled some tahini on top, had a little knob of butter on top. I'll share the image here in a minute. But I wanted it to be like a modern day still life. You know, we eat a lot of corn, especially where I'm from. It's grown all over. And so I thought that would be fitting. I always have flowers on my oven, a pot of boiling water, like with the steam. So let me know what you think. I have been tidying my living room about 10 times a day this past week, since we have a lot of kids playing, including my sister's kids. The house can get pretty messy pretty quickly, but thankfully our house is not huge, and it's so easy to do a quick little pickup. One way to keep it easy is underneath my ottoman. I have 2 baskets, one for magnet tiles and the other for miscellaneous toys. So when I have to do a quick pickup, I don't have to take toys to each kid's bedroom, etc., etc., although sometimes I do. If I need to be in a hurry, I can just throw them into that basket and push it under the ottoman, and it's out of sight, out of mind. I have started watching the new Netflix show called Leanne. I think as a comedian, she is so hilarious, and this show is a quirky little fun show. I've enjoyed it so far. I have yet to finish it. I'm happy that the season is nice and long. I feel like it reminds me of Reba, you know, newly divorced type of thing, so I'll see how it goes. I do feel like the show could be a little deeper or something, I'm not sure, but I feel like it's missing a little something, but so far it's pretty good. If you have a tip on how you have kept your living room clean with littles or grandkids in your house, please let us know in the comments down below. And yes, I am sweeping my rug off. Sometimes I find sweeping the rug off is easier than pulling out the vacuum cleaner. And this day I think was one of the hottest days of the summer so far, and our AC unit went out. And so overnight we had no air, but the next morning we had someone come out and we had air that day. It was so quick, and so we are so thankful for that. So from the yard sale, I got 2 new mini goblets. They were $1 each. So I'm adding those to my goblet collection that sits on my mantle. And then I got the flower frog. It was $4. They had a lot at the yard sale. Most were 4, some were 6. But I couldn't buy more than just one because that was just too much money. So I added this flower frog to my collection. And I think this is my best find from the yard sale. It's an antique picture frame with the original photo. And I believe it was printed out on cardboard. So if you have any information on how to help me date this, please let me know. I did learn that the frame is called a tiger wood oval frame. It dates from the 1890s to the 1900s, I think, or 1910s. So this is over 100 years old. I have wanted a frame like this for forever with the oval blown out glass, like the rounded glass. So I was so happy to see this at the yard sale. And it was only $10. Loved that. It was definitely dirty. Of course, it's an antique, so I had to take it all apart and clean it, but that was super easy to do. I wish I could find out information on who's in the photo, but you know, that's hard to do. But some people have collections of portraits in their home, and so I think this is my beginning to the collection of portraits in my home. I do scare easily, so hopefully this does not scare me. You will see that I tried to hang this photo on my little gallery wall that's in my hallway, but I eventually took it down and moved it because it's right where little kids walk. And instead of me getting upset if it's accidentally broken, I decided to move it to a higher spot where hopefully it will not get knocked over or broken. And it's a shame because I really did like how it looked right here in this gallery. The next thrift find I got was this silver tray. I say thrift find, I mean yard sale find, and so I'm putting it where my bread box used to be with this dried hydrangeas, the container that holds my floss, and then some beeswax candles. And I just wanted to share how cute our little puppy looks, all sleeping and tucked away. I have been having trouble keeping this table super shiny like when I first got it. It's definitely scuffed up and seen some damage. So if you have any tips, please tell me down below how to keep this table nice and clean. And I've been storing my freshly made wreaths on this new antique piece. They just look so cute. I love this blue and yellow so much. And this one's a cute little small wreath, and I love these colors too. It's so hard to not keep them all because I love them all. And some fun news, my vintage oven is in my garage currently, so this may be one of the last few times I am cooking on this oven, although it may take the gas line guy a few days to come. So I tend to come to you every time at the end of a long day, and it's another end to a long day. But I wanted to share with you some of my yard sale finds that I got Wednesday night. After church, one of the ladies at our church took me to a yard sale that she was going to have this weekend. So I got some VIP access, and I did buy some stuff. And so I'm going to share those things with you. So here are some plates. I have these two small matching ones. They were 50 cents each. And then this plate is huge. I love it so much. It's made in Italy. Here's the little stamp on the back. The back is just as beautiful as the front to me. So I'm thinking of hanging this on the wall. Here is how my plate rack is going so far. And the newest addition is this antique, what is this? Japanese willow plate. And I love it so much. On the back, it just says Japan, and it's got the crackling, and it's cream colored. And I'm going to show you a more modern one next to it. All right, here they are next to each other. You can see the differences. This one is more modern, clean, white, not cream. And it seems like the center of the new one is blown up onto the old one. So I do love this plate more than the modern one. I can't remember how much she charged me for this. Maybe $5, I'm not sure. And then I got 5 of these Walt Disney glass cups. My parents had these when I was a kid growing up, and so I bought some for me and my sister as a Christmas gift. They were $1 each. And I can't tell if the coloring is different from when I was a kid or not. But anyways, I got some of these. And then I got these large Thanksgiving decorations. These are so cute. The lady used to be a teacher, and so these were like, I'm assuming her classroom decorations. I'm not really sure. They were expensive. They were $10 each, but they are huge. And I kind of expected her yard sale to be a little pricier because she does have like antique booths and thrift booths. And so I was like, yeah, I was expecting the prices to be a little more than like a normal yard sale, and they were. And that's okay. I expected it. I was prepared. And I did spend a pretty penny. Not too much, but way more than what I normally spend at a yard sale. But I was also glad to help support a sister in Christ. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and please comment down below. I love talking to you in the comments and getting to know you better. See you next time.